On this week's GTA 5 o'clock, PC release delayed until March 27th, GTA Online Heist for PS4 and Xbox One coming in the next few weeks, and could Troy Baker be voicing a character for GTA DLC? Find out in this week's GTA 5 o'clock. Hello and welcome to this week's GTA 5 o'clock. I'm your host James Jarvis and I'm joined as ever by co-host Dan Dawkins.
Hello.
Hello, and for reasons that have probably become apparent already, PCGamer's Andy Kelly.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, so last week, Dan, we mentioned that GTA 5 on PC may or may not be suffering a delay, and I think the wording you used were, let's wait and see. We've waited, we've seen, and it's been delayed.
Yep, it's sliding away. Now we did sit on the fence last week. We didn't sit on the fence on the thumbnail for last week's show. Oh, that's a little bit embarrassing. Where we say GTA 5 on PC, not delay. This week's slide might say is delayed. It doesn't really matter. But we did. No. We were a bit agnostic last week because it was a bit hard to call, and it was a bit suspicious that Rockstar had given us sort of no inkling or insight officially. Now, when we saw the PS4 version pre-release, it was also quite close to the wire. If you look back in history, we published our We've Seen It GTA 5 on PS4 show on the 4th of November, and the game came out on the 18th. So there's only like a 2-week coverage window for the PS4 version. But then we had actually seen it physically probably like the week before, so it was like 3 weeks out. And like last week, it felt like absurdly close to the wire to have had no conversations. And you know, hey, it turns out, game's been delayed. Why is it being delayed? What are Rockstar saying?
Rockstar have said that the game requires a few extra weeks of testing and polish to make it as good as it can be, and have obviously said they don't take pushing the release date of any of their games back lightly, but they feel it's necessary for this release. The good news on the back of it is that Heists are coming in the few weeks leading up to that PC release. They'll release on PC with the release of the game on the PC platform, but for consoles, that's all of the platforms, it will come out before that date. So I guess you can put a marker in the sand around February at some point.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I say a few weeks sounds like 2 or 3 weeks. You know, let's see. There are a few new tidbits of information within the delay release, or as they say, not a delay, a new release date. So what kind of things are they talking about also for the PC version?
Well, I think we can bring Andy in here for this as well. We've got some full 4K resolution, which sounds quite exciting, and that it will run 1080p at 60 frames a second up to 4K, and also will support triple monitor configurations as well as NVIDIA 3D vision for up to triple monitor setups. And this is where I'm going to hand over to Andy to explain what those things mean.
Yeah, well, it sounds very dramatic, but it means you can play the game, you can stretch the image over multiple monitors. So people who are lucky enough to have 3 monitors could have it so that the monitor to their far left shows, and to the far right shows just more of the screen. So it's like stretching the image out across multiple monitors. The reason they're mentioning it is because a lot of games don't support it natively. This will. So out of the box, you can enjoy 3 monitor fun.
To work, would that require, I guess, the equivalent of like a very narrow 16:9 widescreen image, almost like an IMAX or something? You know,
well, no, you
maximize.
You can just do it with get 3 16:9 monitors, and that's it. And it just instead of whereas most games will just display it on one monitor, it will stretch it out. But it won't. By stretch out, I don't mean it will artificially extend the image. It will pull the image so that it's out of, it looks weird, but it will just show you more game.
Do you get a bigger field of view then doing that?
Yeah. So you'll be able to see like a lot. Your field of view will naturally be extended massively because you can now. A lot of people use multi-monitor setups for flight sims and stuff, so that they can look out the window, to the left and to the right and see more, like what a real pilot would.
Yeah.
So when you're in a car in GTA with multi-monitor setup, you'll be able to look out, you'll be able to look to your left and see out your window, kind of thing. So I mean that's cool, but not a thing that most people will take advantage of. But
no, it's quite a tech niche thing. I think what's interesting is it probably works quite well in tandem with the first-person mode. Certainly, like if you're in a car, and like in a regular car, you have the window in front and the two to the side, and like if you could sort of encapsulate most of that.
Yeah, instead of having
while you're
to
driving,
turn your head to look out the window, you can just look out the window. You know, as in like turn your character's head with the right stick, you can just look out of it.
Yeah, that would be fairly awesome.
And NVIDIA 3D Vision's just it turns your PC into like a 3D TV. So you get the glasses, and it makes it, you know, stereoscopic 3D,
Nice.
which NVIDIA cards have built in.
3-screen 3D.
Yeah.
Whoa!
It'll be like
At
4K. That's
Yeah.
the closest thing you can get to the Oculus Rift without wearing an Oculus Rift, by the sounds of it. But yeah, I mean, all this stuff's, you know, good. It's good to have all this for the small amount of people that are interested. But it does show that they're doing, you know, they're spending some time making this PC version
Now,
special.
I guess that's all. That's some of the good things that are happening. They have announced that GTA Online for PC will support up to 30 players and will launch alongside GTA5 for PC and include the GTA Online Heists. Now, before we started this recording, Andy, you were having a little grumble about it only being 30 players because, you know...
Yeah, well, I thought, like, you know, from the moment they announced the PC version, I thought they might expand it a bit, because I played a hell of a lot of GTA Online on 360, and it always felt a bit like there was too much map for too few players, and like 30 people sounds like a lot, but not when you've got however many square miles of, you know, countryside and stuff. So I thought even if they just doubled it or something, you know, then there'd be more people around, and it would be, because the tech's there, like maybe they'll have the reasons for capping it at 30. It might be gameplay reasons, it might be tech reasons or whatever, but it would have been good to see that expanded.
They have technically already doubled it, because on the old gen versions, PS3 and 360, it was only 16 players. Is that correct, James? I haven't got mad. Have I? 16 players. So it went up to 30.
PS4
right, yeah.
and Xbox One.
So that did double the number.
Yeah.
But whether we wanted like another doubling following a kind of online version of Moore's Law,
I'm
or something.
probably just being greedy, but
So hopefully it solved some of your problems anyway that you had on old gen.
yeah,
console.
I mean, the more people, I mean, inevitably everyone starts bunching up in one part of the map where all the action is, but it'd be good to see it, you know, to have it feel a bit more MMO like.
Oh, it'd be. I mean, you know, in the long tail game,
Yeah.
it would be amazing to have a server of 10,000 live people.
Oh,
Though I
you've
said-
gone mad.
No, that's too much, Dan.
No, it's too much. I say that. I mean, it would obviously mean
Imagine that, like,
10,000
as soon as you spawn, you just get, run over.
10,000 man frenzied killer deathmatch. That would be awful. But like, you know, maybe people played it like sensible human beings who acted like pedestrians. Yes. In reality, no. Forget my terrible idea. I'm interested in, like, I'm not very technical, particularly not when it comes to PC. Andy was saying off air the minimum specifications are actually quite kind. Is that correct?
I was pretty impressed by them. I mean, the specs as we record this have just dropped, and I was just looking at them and thinking that's surprisingly low. I mean, that's minimum specs, so you could play the game on low settings on quite a modest PC, like low to mid range. I mean, it's asking for like a quad-core Intel Core 2 CPU at like 2.4 gigahertz, which is pretty low. Like, you know, compared to what I was expecting from a game that looks so good, having played it on PS4. It's asking for like 4 gig of RAM and like a 1 gig graphics card, which is, you know, pretty good. But obviously, it's not going to look. It might look equivalent to the 360 version on that spec. Whereas if you want to get the full PS4 next gen flavor, you're gonna have to start approaching the recommended specs, which is more in line with a modern game. You know, 8 gig of RAM, 2 gig graphics card, which most people have two gig graphics cards these days because they're not expensive. Is the thing.
So to make it layman for me, like if I'm buying a PC now,
Yeah.
let's say I'm going to buy one to play GTA, the triple monitor experience.
Yeah.
You get the price of triple monitors. Like, how much would I pay just for the PC alone for the minimum?
Well,
specs?
I mean, this is like just very loose speculation because parts are different and shops have different prices and everything. But if you wanted to play it on full whack triple monitors, mega specs, graphic settings up to full, then you're probably looking like quite an expensive rig, like a grand, 1,500 quid, like a mega rig for like, because you know, like it's asking for recommended spec, it's asking for a 2 gig card, which is surprising. But if you wanted to really max it out on 3 monitors, you'd probably need a 4 gig card, like the next step up, which is about 300 quid.
Yeah, right.
Something like a GTX 970 or something like that, which is costs as much as an Xbox One. You know, it's like
Just for the card alone.
just for the card, and that's not mentioning the monitor, the case, the CPU, the coolers, the you know,
The magic lights.
the CPU,
Got
the fancy
magic
lights, yeah,
Steam vents, all the cool
the
stuff.
Steam vents, yeah.
So-
So, but I'm impressed with the specs though. Like some games are going, like publishers are going mad now and releasing like specs for their games that are just like, it's almost like a bragging rights. Like, yeah, look how high our specs are. Like the Evil Within was a recent one where it's like, yeah, you need 10,000 gigabytes of RAM. Not really, but it was like, you know.
Really, because the not to go too far off topic, but the Evil Within wasn't even that graphically intense a game.
Yeah.
So that seems kind of mind blowing. Like, I mean, to flip it again, the minimum specs. What kind of price would I pay for a PC to get involved with that?
For these minimum specs here, I could probably, given a bit of time to shop around, could build a PC for that minimum spec for like 500 quid or something. It wouldn't be amazing, but
I guess you have to think that the minimum, like you said, the minimum spec's probably going to run it at like PS4, like in between PS3, PS4 levels of graphical fidelity.
I'd say like similar to Xbox 360, but you know, 1080p instead of 720p. But yeah, so if you didn't mind and you just wanted to play GTA, and you've got a mid to low spec PC that's maybe 5 years old, you might be able to run it on low.
Yeah, cool.
Or buy yourself a PS4 or an Xbox One,
Yeah.
and it'll look better.
Yeah.
Do that.
Or get yourself a GTX 970, a nice little i7 CPU. You know, get yourself 16 gig of RAM and play it at maximum specosity.
Be catapulted into the world of PC gaming.
Yeah.
That'll be quite fun. They have said that over time, obviously, downloadable content and programmable changes will change the system requirements, but that's probably more like a space hard drive issue of having to download lots of patches.
And they might optimize it as well. Like it might, you know, that's the thing. Like we don't know. They might release it and it might run really terribly on one type of setup. I mean, you get that sometimes where Far Cry 4, which came out recently, had problems on AMD cards, which is, you know, Nvidia and AMD are the two big ones, and a lot of people have AMD cards, and for some reason Far Cry, which was made in conjunction with Nvidia, ran a bit dodgy on AMD cards, and still does actually on my one. So it's, yeah, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen until it comes out, but they might optimize stuff and it might lower the specs a little bit, you know.
All right. Well, the screenshots that they have released look amazing. Obviously, they're in full 4K that you can see on the Rockstar Newswire. Another thing that comes with the PC release that we've seen before in GTA 4 is the inclusion of the new Rockstar editor, which gives players a full suite of editing tools to create and publish gameplay clips direct to both the Social Club and YouTube. Andy, have you had a play with the GTA 4's Rockstar editor?
Yeah, I played around with it a bit. It was pretty good. It was quite powerful. You know, there's a lot of little tools to change color and kind of filters and camera angles and stuff like that. But it would only record like quite short amounts of footage. So hopefully this one you get a bit more time to play with.
Yeah.
Because obviously recording footage is the thing right now.
Yes,
so
it is.
Rockstar, if they accommodate it within the game, instead of having to force people to go and use Fraps or Twitch or whatever, or like OBS or whatever, that'd be a big step if they went. You can fully stream and record massive amounts of footage and maybe record your voice in the game. That'd be a massive thing. I think.
That'd be awesome. And it says you can publish them direct to YouTube, which is obviously a nice direct step as well.
So it depends on the time limit. I mean, a lot of these in-game recording suites have time limits. Like you can only record 5 minutes. So in GTA 4 it was quite short. It was like a minute or something. But you know, they've got the chance here to do something quite amazing by giving people a proper editing and recording suite in the game, so you never have to leave it.
And of course, now they've pushed the release date back, they can fully deploy that idea we had on last week's show of making the GTA 5 for PC trailer fully in that new editor to really show it off. So
that's clearly why they've delayed it, James.
Well,
sorry, everyone.
I didn't want to say
it's James's fault,
but I mean, it was such a brilliant suggestion that why wouldn't they be thinking, we'll push it back for 2 months, make that trailer.
Quick point on the screenshots. Obviously, essentially, they feel like familiar environments, incredibly high res. Download them, zoom in, appreciate the fine granular detail. We often talked about like how the different media released of GTA 5 relates to key sort of meta issues within the game, like the conspiracy hunts. There was the Alien trailer, you know, pre the GTA 5 and PS4 release. This one contains in the background, James, a familiar location you're always talking about. The casino.
The casino. I love a bit of casino action.
No doubt the casino's still closed, and it's there as a cruel tease. But I think it sort of does say that either it's lucky or Rockstar are listening to all these kinds of conversations and are very in tune with what people are looking for.
Well, we'd hope, fingers crossed, that there would be some kind of heist at the casino when Heists release. There's obviously going to have to be a few more environments for you to go into to do these heists. We've seen a couple of them already, like the banks that we can go into and the vaults that you go and steal the cash from. But I mean, there's loads of cash in a casino. We've also heard the audio recordings of Lester and other people mentioning the casino, saying, hey, it's open, go and check it out. So hopefully, Dan, yes, you've picked up on a little detail there, a little hint from Rockstar that we'll see the casino opening, hopefully, in the next couple of months.
Maybe. That's good. Anything else to say about the PC version?
No, other than that we are, of course, looking forward to it, and we will have a updated views on it as we get nearer the time.
Yeah, so a bit disappointing, but not entirely unexpected. I'm not like massively bummed out. I guess maybe that's the way it looked. I know people obviously gone onto the Rockstar comments and, you know, proclaimed some pretty serious things about Rockstar. That always happens, you know. It's okay, it's out soon, it's going to be rad. Let's look forward to it.
All right, one final thing before we go this week. We should talk about the possibility of Troy Baker being in GTA 5, possibly as some kind of DLC. Maybe he's a new voice actor for some of the heist stuff. Now, this has come from a post on the GTA forums by Green Rock, who has posted an image up of Troy Baker and Ned Luke together having a fun time on a night out. Now, I think the question that was put out there was, why are these guys hanging out? It might just be that they're friends, obviously, and they've had a good time. But a little digging around on their Twitter feeds and Instagram, we can see that the picture was posted on December the 28th, so they're working over Christmas, which is unusual. And one of them contained the hashtag greatness awaits, which I'm pretty sure is the hashtag that Sony used when they were promoting the PS4. Is that right? Can you remember that far back?
Yeah.
So possibly it's PlayStation related, that suddenly they're working together. If you look at Troy Baker's Twitter, you can see that they're hanging out in New York City, which is that where they do most of the Rockstar voiceover recordings?
Well, it's where Rockstar are based primarily in the States. I mean, is that where they record? I don't know. But yeah, their main office is in New York.
You might have been into audition with Ned and all the other, you know, Steve and what's his name and all the other
All
voice
dudes.
actors. Yeah, to go, you know, to see if he fits with them for a potential new character.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, Ned Luke, friend of the show, it's worth adding. Like, Ned's often tweeted kind things about our show. Yeah, hey, Ned, get in touch. Debunk the mystery. That's the first thing I'd say. But it could be that, you know, the tempting link is to say that Troy, who's now quasi-famous in the world of VO artists, like, who has he done that people would know recently? Like, he's going to do Ocelot in the upcoming Metal Gear Solid.
He was Talion from Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, the main guy.
Yeah.
It was in Batman.
He's Joker, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
He was
the
Pagan
defining
Min.
role.
In
Pagan Min.
in Far Cry 4.
So he's in everything, right?
Yeah.
So, like, in a way, he oddly comes with a bit too much baggage for GTA. But I wonder that, you know, who would he play? He's not going to play himself. He's not like Ricky Gervais. He's not going to be able to come in and play himself, per se.
Unless he's
in a
playing
GTA
a
game.
video game voiceover artist in the video game.
I mean, it could be. That's kind of some hilarious meta thing Rockstar might do. To me, it feels a bit like, provided there is even any mileage in this being a real thing, you know, would he play a sort of quasi-famous mythological character from the GTA universe who would appear in the single-player DLC, which now is going to be a fair way back, given the PC version is until March.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be that they're friends. You can see them going. They went out and did karaoke. I think one of them sang Jailhouse Rock. It's a little bit of information for you there. But it's not.
Jailhouse Rock, GTA, crime, prison.
It's all coming together. You should be on this show more often, Andy. But it's something that we've seen Rockstar do before, like Cara Delevingne. We've seen her tweeting about being back at Rockstar and re-recording some of the music and DJ tracks before Rockstar had actually officially announced anything.
See, I don't think it's a very Rockstar casting decision, because they usually cast unknowns or people with sort of, ever since 4 anyway, people with a bit of credibility or whatever. You know, obviously in Vice City, that it was just like, you know, Dennis Hopper really, all the celebrities you can think of. But I think getting Troy Baker seems quite unlike them, because they carve their own path, don't they, in terms of hiring
it's
people.
a little bit. He's like, whilst to say he's not Jack Nicholson or like a truly stellar Hollywood name, within our world he is quite a big deal. So he probably feels a bit too loaded with baggage and probably a bit like needlessly expensive for them to do that. Like there's no reason for them to bring him in.
I don't know, the amount of
knows,
games
you know?
he's in. Maybe that's his key to success. He's cheap. Like he'll do it for hardly anything. That's why he's in every game.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
He's undercutting everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, we never know. Well, get in touch, Troy. Let us know how much you are.
When we met Troy at our company does an awards event called the Golden Joystick Awards. Troy was at that last year. He didn't look like a man who was short of a few bob, Andy. But respect to him, really lovely chap. So well done, Troy. Maybe that's why Ned drinks with him. You know, nice bloke, cheap, but he does get around it.
Well, yeah, you never know. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. Let us know what you think about Troy Baker and Ned Luke in the comments. Only nice things. And whether they're going to be in GTA 5 DLC or not. And get in touch about what you think about the PC release. Obviously, you're going to be quite upset that it's been delayed. But what do you think about Heist coming? What things are you looking forward to? You can get in touch with us on Twitter at GTAV O'Clock or on Facebook at facebook.com/GTAV O'Clock. And until next week then, Dan, we'll see everyone back here at 5 o'clock.
See you then.